All right. Well, welcome everybody. Denny Grimes here with another mastery call. I've got on my co-host, Sonny Hammermeister, is our Vanta White, and she's going to be working with me today, coming up with some awesome objections. We were doing role play today with my team, and she was like really coming up with some good new thoughts. And we're going to dig deep into this. And I know we have a few people coming on. Kevin, good to have you on from the West Coast. Pam, where are you from? Where are you? You're muted. You're muted.
Durango, Colorado.
Snow in there yet?
Not yet. No.
Well, I want to start with something, as other people come on, I want to start with something I learned this week that I want to share with you guys. And I shared it in my bold room. Some of this is out of the bold material. I'll just share one concept that's out of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book. Hey, Kevin. And that's this. Gary Keller talks about, and you don't have to be with Keller Williams to be on the call. I'm with Keller Williams, so I study, and he has a lot of good things to say, right? I study what he has to say. He talks about important things about building your business as lead generation, lead follow-up. And so I had a thought this week out teaching bold. There's something called active lead generation. That's when we're actively looking for people. And there's also something called passive lead receiving. And here's the mental image I had that I'm going to share with you and see if this resonates. Give me your thoughts on it. Then I'm going to share one more thought. We're going to get into some role play. I believe that most people, like you guys on the call, I believe a high percentage of agents out there that businesses are suffering, meaning they're not making enough money or not making the level of income they want. I believe they have the high integrity. I believe they could service a client. If I were to give you a referral, I believe that you would be diligent about performing the duties of a real estate agent to help them buy a home somewhere in Durango, Colorado, or San Francisco, Kevin, or wherever you guys happen to be, right? However, then what is the challenge and why are agents' businesses below what they really want? And here is the answer. The answer is because they don't have enough people to work with. So when you think and you drive up to an intersection at any town USA, there could be someone there with a sign that says, "I'll work for food," or they're looking for a handout or contribution or a little helping hand, however you want to label it. Well, here's my aha. To me, the person driving up in the car probably has a little bit more net worth and resources than the person they're begging. Begging, I don't want to use that word. That's asking will work for food, okay? And to me, that's the picture of a real estate agent that is actively engaged in lead gen versus someone waiting for a passive lead, meaning the person on the side of the road wants they're great, just they're not going to go work for the lead, they're not going to find it. And the challenge is it'll be very difficult to get ahead if that was your level of income. Likewise, it'll be difficult to get ahead in real estate if that's your main source of leads, is waiting for a lead to fall out of the sky. And I believe you can handle it. So we have to get our heads around that. And I want to show you this one picture. And this might help you. And this is another aha that I had. This is taught also in the One Thing book. Basically, when you talk about lead generation, lead follow-up, the National Association of Realtors says that homeowners move every 7 to 10 years. Let's just make it 10 years. That means that there's 100 people, 100 homeowners standing in line, and you were to walk up and greet one of them and say, "Hey, I'm Denny Grimes, Keller Williams." There's a 10% chance that they might be making a move in a year, right? 10% chance. That's why Gary Keller says lead generation will give you income. However, the big money comes in a systematic follow-up. So as you greet that one person, there's a 10% chance they're going to buy in a year. However, there's a 90% chance they're not going to buy in a year. They're going to buy inside of 9 years. That's where the big money lies. And so I've met agents, they've even been on role play, and they've told me, "Denny, I'm going to have to change my thinking because I've had a one and done mentality. I'm not really servicing my database. I'm going out looking for people who want to buy. Well, listen, I just got back from a John Maxwell conference, and one of the first things he says is, listen, don't equate working with the wind at your back, or John Maxwell calls it a tailwind. Don't equate that with success. I mean, we've had a pretty good market the last maybe 18 months, 12 months or whatever. It won't always be that way. The fortune is in the follow-up. Find some way that you can systematically be in touch with other agents. My last point. Then you can ask me a question or share your aha if you want to in the chat, or if you want to talk. We've got a great group here, and it's growing. So is this. This is worth writing down and chewing on. We do not create business, you guys. We do not create business in real estate. We harvest it. In my 40 years, I don't know that I've ever caused someone to sell that didn't want to sell, or actually made them buy when they didn't want to buy. If that's true, well, let me just ask you, do you think that's true? Speak up, put it in the chat, whatever you want. If that is true, that means that it's like in our area, and you won't get this in Durango, Colorado. However, if you go and people come down here, they like to go to the beach, no big surprise. Then people like to go out in the morning and then go shelling. You know what shelling is? We have seashells here. They like to go out and pick up seashells. It's kind of like if you like to look for golf balls, and like every morning the tide would bring in golf balls, right? However, there's only so many shells on the beach. That's exactly what the number of buyers and sellers are in your marketplace. And they're always ebbing and flowing in and out. Yep. So if there's a finite number, the person or the agent that's going to be out there first, early bird gets the worm, or more consistently, is going to pick up more seashells, meaning the other agents will get what's left. So it's not like you can decide, well, I'll pour on the coal when I feel like it. No, you might already be too far behind. And if the market shifts, there's going to be less business. So just understand there's not an infinite amount of business. And so I have a weird attitude. How many people like slow drivers? I don't like slow drivers. And I get kind of frustrated getting behind a slow driver. You all know what I'm talking about, right? I have a personality that's kind of a double-edged sword, however, it keeps me on my toes. Imagine driving down the interstate. I don't like to drive a lot because when I'm on the interstate, there's always somebody in front of me. I can never get in front of everybody. And so it's kind of a weird thought. However, it kind of motivates me in the real estate realm. Like, for example, I get up at 2:30 in the morning so I can start my day early. And so if there's any seashells out there or any early bird, any worms out there, I want to make sure that I'm sharper and I'm out there first, getting my fair share and then some. So that's my thought of the day. Anyone have any comment on that? I see, Jim, you put in there, yes, so true. I've tried to convince someone to sell. Yeah, you can't do it, right? You just get frustrated. Any thoughts on that before we move forward? Well, awesome. Sonny, let's get into some conversations. And as you guys know, I practice the question-based listing enhanced conversations. And it's going to be Thursday, 1 to 2. And so we'll be here next week. No, next week will be Thanksgiving, you guys. So anybody want to be on at Thanksgiving? I'd love to see your turkey. No, okay, we won't do it next week. So we'll have to take next week off and be on it, and probably go through a week or two in December. And then through Christmas, we'll probably take a little bit of break. So we'll let you know about that. So Sonny, what do we have on the docket? And you guys can put in the chat anything maybe you're dealing with, a role play. What we want to do is keep our role plays and our situations to about 10 minutes so we can go through a number of different situations. So is there any special requests from the crowd that you'd like to have seen? Maybe you had an appointment, you have that objection, you have that situation, or you're going to it. We'll be happy to take requests from the crowd. I feel like I'm Toby Keith. Any requests from the crowd?
While they're thinking about it, I have one. So while they're thinking about it, it might spark their memory of what they've been going through lately. So one of the ones, So you're the agent, I'm the seller.
Yay.
Denny, what are you gonna do to actively sell my home as opposed to just putting it in the MLS and collecting 6%?
All right, X%. Okay, that's fine. So let me find here something here very quickly. And I want to put up the model. Give me 1 second. Oh, yeah, here it comes. Here it is. So here's the model, you guys. It's always easy to follow a map. This is the model that I'm going to use, okay, when I go through this. So I'm going to isolate. First of all, I'm going to acknowledge it. I'll isolate. I'm going to answer it, and then I'm going to close. Everything's through questions. Now, because I do a practice question-based listening enhanced, I generally role play. And I do this if I'm on a phone with a client, or even if I'm in person, I am jotting down notes. I can't tell you how much that helps. If you it helps me listen. It might help you listen. So, Sonny, I'm ready. This conversation is taking place at the table, not on the phone. Why? If possible, get the appointment, have the conversation at the kitchen table or face-to-face somewhere, and don't attempt to handle every objection over the phone. Sometimes you don't have that option. You know, maybe distance or you're zooming it. This conversation's at the table. So your question, just restate it one more time for everyone, and I'm going to set my little timer here.
Okay. So Denny, what are you going to do to actively sell my home besides putting it in the MLS and collecting a commission like all the other agents?
Oh, well, thanks so much, Sonny. Well, I appreciate you having me here, and I understand the question. I think I do. So let me ask you, so what am I going to do? So let me ask you, have you been in the process of interviewing other agents?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Now, stepping outside the role play, that's one question during your pre-list, during your conversation on the phone. That's one question you want to be finding out. Oh, by the way, will you be interviewing other agents? And when are you interviewing? How many are you interviewing? So don't go into that appointment without knowing that. Let's say I forgot to do it. All right. So you are interviewing other agents. Have you interviewed any already?
Yes, I've interviewed 2.
And how many do you plan on interviewing there, Sonny?
Well, you know, I read something online that said you should interview at least 3 agents. So, you know, I was hoping you would say something different.
Something different? Like, I'm number 3. Does that mean I win?
No, it just seems like everybody just wants to put it in the MLS, and they said within 24 hours it'll sell. It's a great market.
I got it. So now I understand what you wanted. You're asking me, what will I do different than that, correct?
Correct.
Now, you said you had an interesting comment there too. You said actively market. What do you mean by that?
Well, what do you do besides just put it in the MLS and wait for somebody else to sell it?
Well, okay, I'll answer that. However, is there any other question you might have that I might be able to cover while I'm answering that question that may make you feel comfortable going with me today?
I think that's it.
Okay, so that's the isolation, guys. You know, notice I didn't want to go down the road with answering that her question, which is a good one and could be very common, without finding out what else there was. Now, that doesn't mean that there won't be something else, at least on the initial ask, there's not. So, all right, so let me ask you then, what's the most important thing? Now, the other agents said they're going to be able to put it on the market and put it in MLS and get it sold within 24 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
What else would you want them to do? It seems like sellers hire agents to get their homes sold. What's wrong? What they're saying.
I guess I'm having a problem with paying all that money just to stick it in the MLS and sell it in one day.
Now, we've not, although we had a role play today with something similar, we have not rehearsed this. And so Sonny is being exactly what her role as a seller would be. So we've not rehearsed this and prepared this. However, what's interesting, when we were going through some role plays with some other agents, the common mistake some agents would make is they would want to attack the objection, handled the objection without fully understanding the mindset of where the seller is, because it wasn't computing with me. Now let's have a little dialogue here. So I'm John Gruden, and the good John Gruden, right, that breaks down NFL film. And we're going to be talking about this play here. You see, sitting there, does it make any sense? What are you going to do different? These other agents are going to put it in the MLS and it's sold in 24 hours. I mean, wouldn't you kind of want to ask, well, what do you want them to do different? That's like saying, hey, look, you know, I've interviewed these dentists, and these dentists said they can do the root canal in 20 minutes and get me out of there. And that's it. That's all. What else would you want your dentist to do? So are you drifting with me on this? So maybe it's just my thinking. There's something missing to the puzzle. Now, when I ask her that, what did you hear? Who wants? We don't have a big group here, so that's awesome. You can come off mic if you're in a quiet spot. I don't see anybody that's in a car wash. So,
hey, Denny, I got the feeling that a person wouldn't know exactly what the dentist required, you know, what he needed to do in his process, because we're not professional dentists.
okay. I get that. So, I mean, I might be careful giving that analogy. However, but while you're there, Moses, what did you notice came up when I asked her the questions? There's something else that came up. Did you hear what she said?
Well, the last thing I caught was you turned it into a question. What else do you want?
Yes.
And then you went into the dentist thing. And I'm not a dentist, so when I sit in a dentist chair, I got the feeling like I was sitting in the dentist chair. I have no idea what they're going to do, you know, because I can't see my mouth also.
All right. Got it. Well, I mean, I was only giving you guys the analogy. I wasn't really doing that in role play, although I could use that. So what happened is she brought up, did you hear what she said? This is the key. Well, why would I pay you all that money to sell it in a day? So that came up. It may be a commission issue right now. So let me just go back into it and put a bow on it here in the next 3.5 minutes. So Sonny, all right. So now are you concerned that you're not? It doesn't seem you're concerned they're going to sell it fast. You're concerned they're going to sell it fast and you have to pay a lot of commission.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just don't know if that's really worth it. I mean,
well, help me understand, would you rather them sell it slow to earn their commission?
no, I just don't understand why it's going to sell in 24 hours and then I need to pay $50,000 in commission to do that.
So when you had me over, now I'm going back and using what you said, you said you would hope that you would be hearing something different. What were you hoping that you would hear?
That you would do it for less.
So it's not about how fast. I mean, it's about for less, right?
Yes, that's what it would have to boil down to, I guess, at this point. If you're not going to be able to do anything different, then yes.
Well, you have two agents. And what did the agent said they could sell their house for in 24 hours? What price?
500,000.
Are you happy with that number?
Yeah, I mean, the other realtor said $500,000 too, so I would be happy to sell it for 500.
Okay. So let's take one road at a time. So what if I said I could do it? They said they could do it in 24 hours. What if I could do it for 12 hours faster? I could do it in 12 hours. Then would you feel comfortable with the fee?
No, I would feel even worse.
So what if I said, oh, it's going to take me a week? Then would you feel comfortable with the fee?
No, I wouldn't.
Let me ask you this, Sonny. I'll forget the other real estate agents just for a second. When ideally would you like to be moved?
I would like to be out in 45 days.
So what if we could get the $500,000, your number, and not in 24 hours, where you could be out in 45 days and have a smooth move? Would you think I've earned my fee then?
What is your fee?
It's X%. Let's say it's the same as the other ones.
I just don't know. I just probably would feel better if you would lower your commission.
And how much lower would make you feel better?
2% lower.
Okay. So are you saying that you would do business with me if my fee was 2% lower?
Yes,
So that would be what, 10 grand?
yes.
Okay. So I guess what you would, another thing you're saying that if you could net 10 grand more, that you're willing to go with me today.
Yeah, if I can net 10 grand more than I would, that makes sense to me.
Okay. So so you mind if I tell you, I'm going to tell you the story, then I'm going to go, you guys be ready to comment on this. Okay. I want you to mentally dissect my chess moves. All right. So let me ask you, I'm going to just tell you a quick story. So not long ago, we met with the seller, and the seller had two agents come in and told them what they could sell it for. Seller was happy with that. And unfortunately, those agents weren't that experienced, weren't very experienced, at least in this area as much as me. And I happen to know where the market kind of where it was going, not just the past sales. And so we were able to list that house for $30,000 more than both of those agents said that would be the max. In other words, $30,000 more than the max that they told that seller that she could get. And the seller like, wow, I mean, really? And I said, yeah, that's what I see happening. And if it's wrong, we can always adjust. However, and I gave her the reasons. You know what she did, Sunny?
What?
She listed the home with us. We sold it for full asking price in 14 days. And she pocketed an extra, well, she had to pay me a little, she, pocketed extra $27,000. So
I would like that.
So would that be, so if you could pocket an extra $10, $20, $30,000, would my fee be worth it?
Yes.
All right, so I'm going to stop.
Totally.
That's actually 10 minutes and 45 seconds. So let's stop just a little bit. Let's debrief on this little role play, you guys. What did you hear? What did you like? What you maybe didn't like? How would you have done it differently? Anybody want to say something? This is where we participate.
You were just trying to find their motivation.
Yes. All right. Well, thanks so much. Is that
George.
Gene? George. All right. Yes. I was attempting to find her motivation around what was important to her. That's right. I didn't really want where she's moving. Yes. And good observation. Great observation. What else, you guys?
I liked the fact that you asked her, you went into specific detail, as in how much lower, and you brought it down to a number, and you didn't agree to lower it. You said, what if I could net you that back? Then would that be okay with you? I thought that was pretty clever. Yeah,
I mean, all right, that's right. I mean, I associated the $10,000 savings was a net of $10,000 more. So great pickup on that. Awesome job. What else? Somebody else say something. Go ahead.
Denny, did you know when you were doing that conversation in your head, do you think you're going to be able to net her that money ahead of time? Because let's just say you say, okay, I can list you think you can list the house for 500,000, and then you get into this situation, but you don't really think you can go higher than that. Would you be doing the same thing?
Well, all right. So then Dan, do me a favor. Are you in a place where your camera works and you can have your camera on so we can role play?
Yes.
Awesome. Thanks. So why don't you be that seller and push me on that a little bit. Okay. Because I think that's a fair question. So if I can net you more money, would that make sense? If you could net the $10,000 more, would you be willing to go with me, Dan?
It would, but I don't think you're going to get any higher.
Okay. Why do you say that?
Well, these other two agents said that 500 max that's pushing it. And I agree with them.
Okay. And so what were they charging?
6%.
So you're not saving any money at that, right?
No.
So let's say that we all are coming in at $500,000 and all on the exact same fee. What will you do then?
Maybe interview another realtor.
Okay. And so when that realtor comes in, and now see what I've done is because Dan, you can push me on the price here. The seller has not mentioned to me that either agent has discounted. In fact, quite the opposite. She's looking for someone that would be different. Evidently, both of them are at the same number, whatever it happens to be, and at the same price. Now, that doesn't happen that often. However, in this case, that's the scenario.
Yeah.
So what's interesting is, and then I asked, I'm using Dan now. I asked, well, if all three of us were the same, who would you choose? And let's just assume that no one out there will do it for less. What would be your second criteria, Dan?
Experience.
Aha. Aha. So you see, now I'm going to find out what would be the second thing that they would decide on. And so now for me, that might be a good thing. Now, one thing that I teach all the time, and I want you to be careful, Dan, you can't answer this. Anybody else, tell me what experience means to Dan. What could it mean? Let me ask that. What could experience mean the way Dan's using that?
Sounds like he's looking for someone that has some years of experience and has a record of sales.
Okay, it could be the number of years. It could be the number of sales. I mean, it could be several different things, right?
Yeah.
One of the great things that I'm attempting to model for you guys is ambiguity is a killer in a conversation. Get clarity. Well, okay, so experience. How would you measure experience?
How many houses have you sold in this area in the last year or 2 years?
Okay. And if you're strong in something, okay, and the seller doesn't mention it, leverage it. Like, for example, okay, so I've been around since dirt. So I would say, well, will the number of years of real estate experience matter to you?
Okay. Yes.
Okay, well, now
How
they
much
said
was
no.
No.
So what I'm attempting to do here is whatever you do, don't just start laundry listing people with a bunch of reasons why. Find out, that's like the server reading the menu. Why don't you try the tuna fish? How about macaroni? The lobster mac and cheese is pretty good. I think the California roll will be right up your alley. Like, no, ask them what's important. Now, if years in experience are not your cup of tea, like you've been in it 3 days, don't ask that question.
The art of negotiation.
I would.
Go ahead, George.
I said the art of negotiation.
Well, yes, that's right. That could be a level of experience. Now, as we close this up, because this is why I brought you on, Dan, press me on the price. Because remember, I said, okay, all right, you're saying that all right, well, let's go back to the conversation. I'm just saying, Dan, let me ask you a question. Just because two agents said that doesn't mean it's going to happen. I'm telling you the story. We were able to get $30,000 more. Then what position do you want to take from a pricing standpoint?
I want to list it for 5 because I think that's all we're going to get, and I don't want to miss the boat. I don't want people to not see my house if we go too high.
Okay. So, and you're going to find sellers that do that. And if this market starts shifting, you're going to want them to do that. And so we can't always depend on the fact, hey, I can get more for it, because at some point in time, you can't get more for it. So, all right. So now if basically price were the most important, if no one can get more than 500, then you're going to go on experience. Then you would go down that path, right? Experience would be the number of transactions. So you talk about the number of transactions in this area, correct?
Yes.
And then what else? Then now you're gonna. What else is important? Get everything out there. So now you know how you can basically sell your services, your value proposition. And I bet what's interesting is the other two conversations that Dan or Sonny had with those other two agents, you're already past where they are. So you stand a pretty good chance of getting the listing.
Oh,
So let's shift here. There was something put in the chat, Sonny, and it's now somewhere up higher. Somebody asked a question. Can you go to that?
Yes. So the first one is from Mary. It says, seller says we want to think about it after the listing presentation.
Okay. Is Mary on?
She's on.
Mari,
Oh, Mari. Hey, Mari, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
Okay, so let's go ahead and role play this for 3 or 4 minutes, okay? All right, you want to think about it?
Yeah, I want to think about it. I want to go over, what you went through, presenting the, your listing presentation. And there's too many things in the air for us. So I'll give you a call in a couple of days.
I got that. Well, I understand you want to think it over. You mind if I, just for clarity before I go, are you thinking about whether or not you're going to sell, or whether or not you want me to help you get your home sold?
I'm thinking about whether it's more convenient for me to sell or not. I am not sure how I'm going to approach this whole thing. Maybe I should rent. I'm not sure yet. So we still need to think about it. I think if we were to sell, we will hire you, but we're not very sure right now.
All right, now I'm going to ask you. See, I want to gain clarity. Remember, ambiguity is a killer in a conversation. Ambiguity is a killer. So I've asked her, if she wants to think about whether or not she wants to make the move, maybe go and rent, downsize, whatever, that's one thing. If she's a little bit concerned about, well, she's committed to the move, and we know she wants to be in Orlando, right? Yet she's not convinced with me. Do you think that would be a different conversation that I would have? So the way that I would do it, if Mari said, "Hey, look, you're our Huckleberry. If we're going to list, we're listing with you. We just have to talk through a few things." I will I'm not pushing, and maybe some of you guys would. I'm saying, okay, I understand. And as your agent, now I'm going to future pace her as your agent. Well, okay, that's good. Let's put that aside just for a moment. What type of information can I provide you with to help you guys as you chat with us and think this over? Now, you see the position I took when basically, and she may not be telling me the truth. They may be meeting with another agent in 15 minutes as my taillights leave the driveway. However, the way I'm going to give her I'm going to, like fishing. I use this analogy sometimes. I'm going to let the fish take line versus resist it. And I'm going to look for any kind of sign or whatever that if they're kind of like telling a fib, there'll be some inconsistencies that come up in their story. So as your agent in the future, is there anything I can help you with, give you any information to think about, Maury?
No, you gave me a lot of information about my house, how much I can sell it for. And so I'm not sure. I understand that my price that I thought is not what, in this market, realistically, I had to sell it for less. So I'm not sure if I'm going to move forward with the selling, or maybe for me it's more convenient to rent it.
Well, maybe I'm a softie. Maybe I should go watch Boiler Room or something like that when I could be closing her on, who would handle that differently? Maybe I'm letting her off the hook. Am I letting you off the hook, Mari?
No.
Would you welcome, as the seller, pressure at this point from me?
Okay.
No, I'm saying in real life, would you want me as a listing agent to pressure you?
No.
All right. And you as the agent, would you pressure the seller?
I didn't. It happened to me.
And did they list with somebody else?
No.
So you can follow up, right? Go ask them if they want a pumpkin pie.
Yes.
So, all right, what's next, Sonny?
Hey, Denny,
Yeah.
I kind of have a question more about the agent. If you have, let's say, majority of people standing off right now, you know, they're kind of like holding off. I prepared several offers, for example, last week, and you know, I couldn't get one. You know, one of them didn't perform with the proof of funds. You know, because whatever reason, you know, bank had you know, caps on how much you can deposit in a week or whatever, and little stuff like that. But if everyone, let's say one of those buyers is real or one of those sellers is real out of 5 or 10, how do you compose yourself to be successful, you know, dealing with that?
All right, so I hear you. I don't know how to bite into it yet. So let's put me in a scenario.
Okay, you have 2 offers out. Both people are not performing with whatever it may be.
So you were working with 2 buyers that are out, right? With offers.
Okay, yeah, but the scenario is, let's say you have 5 or 10 of those going on in buying and selling. One of them is real. How do you compose yourself not to lose all of them when you're dealing with, you know, with them standing off?
Well, you must do things different. Where are you, Moses?
California.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm not getting my teeth into it. So you've got 10, you've got sellers, are you saying you got 10 offers back and forth right now?
The scenario is I'm talking to several sellers that aren't pulling the trigger, not going through with it, and buyers that are not fully performing but want me to prepare offers. So if one of them is real.
Let's take one at a time.
Sure.
You got buyers that aren't performing. What does that mean?
I'm preparing offers and I'm not getting everything that I need to submit them.
Okay. And so you can't submit them, right?
Exactly.
All right. So why would they start something and stop it?
So that's what I'm asking. You know, what I'm dealing with a lot is also the same in a seller where they're just not going through with it, but they're interested. And how do you compose yourself? If just one of those people is real, how do you compose yourself to treat them to be successful, to get that one that's real?
All right. So, all right. Okay. Now you're at, let me take a wild stab at it. And maybe there's somebody here that heard that and it can help them too. So I think one of the things I use all the time, and I think it's the best qualifying conversation. It's so friendly. Who do you want to be, a buyer or a seller? Who do you want to be right now? Let's take one at a time. You're a buyer or a seller?
I would like to be a seller, of course.
All right. So on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning you're just considering it, or 10 means if you would, you're ready to list your home today, where do you find yourself on that scale, Moses?
5.
Awesome. What would it take to get you to a 10?
Okay.
So do you know their motivation?
No.
So it sounds like to me, if I walked in, all right, so I won't use the dentist example because that evidently crashes.
Yeah.
So I'm walking into a showroom and you're a car salesman. I walk in, walk out, and you have, you recognize me. Am I a buyer or not?
Do you want a car?
Well, my question to you on your buyers and sellers, and this is for everyone. Yes. Are they a buyer or a seller? Lookers and wonders are not buyers or sellers. So you would have to ask them. So you go to your buyer. So all right, now you're a buyer. So, I know we're getting stuff together to create an offer on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 meaning you're just kind of like not ready, and 10, you're ready to buy today. Where are you, Moses?
I'm at a 5, but my question is more penetrating than that. Like, I want to understand just how to compose myself while I'm waiting without killing the deal, because I know one of them is real, maybe 9 or not, like you said.
I don't understand. You're asking me how you're supposed to behave?
How should I, what is the best approach?
Well, I think I'm answering the question, and I'll talk to you offline a little bit too, because I don't want to spend too much time here if I'm missing something. However, my question is, do you have clarity? This is for everyone, for the buyers and sellers you're working with, and they might be in their funnel at different levels of motivation. Do you understand where they are from a motivation standpoint? If you don't, it's blind man's bluff.
Yes.
And the only way you know is to ask, and you ask a 1 to 10. So take one of those buyers or sellers, and how do you compose yourself? And you say, well, if I'm a 5, what will it take to get you to a 10? Okay, if those things happen, are you a 10? And if those things have to happen and they're a 5, are they an A buyer now? So if they're not, if I'm answering your question, I would, to compose yourself, you're not going to push a B. If they're not getting all their stuff in order to get their offer in, or if they're not, doing the things and really, moving forward as a seller, well, now you're kind of in a follow-up nurture situation that, okay, what has to help me? Help me understand what has to happen. And I think if you're treating them like a Lego set and you want to keep getting all these building blocks and getting that in there, getting these offers kind of ready to go, yet they're not ready to go because they said, listen, I'm a 5 and I've got to get my job transfer. I've got to get my parole papers. I've got to get whatever, my IRS tax lien paid off. They're probably not, you would just treat them like me walking into your showroom. Yeah, my kid's 14 and he wants to buy a Corvette, and I'm thinking about buying him a Corvette when he's 16. So I'll be a buyer in a couple of years. Awesome. I'll be here in 2 years. So we can chat more offline if you want to. I don't know if that helps.
No, I understand. Thank you. That was a lot clearer.
All right. What's next, Denny?
Denny, can
Christy
I?
has one. Yep.
Yeah, do you have time for me?
Yeah, Christy, are you kidding?
I have kind of a weird scenario that happened last week that I wanted to ask you about, get your perspective on. So I had a warm lead, a past client from 10 years ago, called the office, had me come out earlier this year, met with them. They're just trying to get an idea of where they stood at that point because they were making a plan for the next year because they were going to be retiring and they're relocating to Prescott, Arizona. And they knew that we had a big expansion location network and they wanted to be connected with an agent in Prescott and blah, blah, blah. So I give them, we talk about the market, didn't go over value because they were so far out, but just kind of discuss where things were at, told them we had a great agent in Prescott, Arizona that could help them, and just kind of answered all their questions and what they need to do to prepare the house for when the time comes. So fast forward, I've been throughout the year, because I think this was early, maybe like April or May of this year. So throughout the year, I nurtured them by inviting them to Pi Day events or Lily Day and all the events that we have at the office throughout the year. And so I get an email from her last week and she said something along the lines of, hey, we just want to regroup with you as we're getting ready to head down to Prescott to start looking at, properties and then list in the spring. We just want to get a feel for what, things are looking like down there. And she said, would you be willing to list our house, or before we go, we have to make some decisions. And we'd like to know if you could take a 3% commission on our house because you'll be making a 6% commission when we buy through your agent in Prescott, which I have no idea where that information came from. So I thought that was weird because I've never had an expansion referral kind of backfire or have a negative. I don't even know if it was considered negative, but they had a concern about us making a total of 9% between the sale of their house and then their purchase in Arizona. And so, I wrote her back via email and I just said, hey, I totally understand. I validated where she was at. And I said, what I'd really like to do is, listen, it's been 6 months since we talked. And since we've met in person, the market shifted a little bit. When are you guys available in the next 3 days for me to come by and update you on the market and, kind of regroup on your situation? And then we can go over all of this. And then as soon as I sent off that email, I called her and left her a message to make sure she received it. She didn't answer. I sent her a text. She responds to my email that night and said, we're really busy. I can't take any phone calls from you. But we'd really like to know the answer to our question. So at that point, I respond and I said, well, I get your concern, but I basically explained when you purchase, the seller's paying that commission, just like you're paying an agent's commission when, we list your property. And I said, so the great news is you're not paying to buy a house in Arizona. And I said, that's great news. Again, is there a time we can get back together? Anyway, she won't take my phone calls, and she will not let me come back over to the house because they're trying to quarantine because they're trying to get out to go to Arizona. So given that someone won't take your call, because obviously no one likes to have these conversations via email. And the most important thing I want to do is try and get in front of their face, which they're not allowing either. I've just never had a situation look quite like this.
All right, so let's assume, have you asked if you can do a Zoom?
No, I did not.
All right, so let's pretend like we're Zooming.
Okay.
Let's have a conversation. And this will be fun. Christy, by the way, is an awesome agent in Alaska. It's my wife's daughter. And so you want to be the agent and want me to be the seller? Or you want it the other way around?
It doesn't matter. I can be the seller. I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay, awesome. So thanks, Christy, for letting us go on the Zoom and let's chat a little bit. So I understand the question you asked. We're going to get to that in a second. As far as what'd you say? You wanted us to do a 3% here, right?
That's correct.
And so I know. I mean, you're doing. Is that a 6%er over there? That's your fee again.
6% for past clients. Going back to the
all right. All right. So, other than that, is there anything else you want to talk about first? Any questions that have come up, etc.?
Nope.
All right.
Just commission.
All right. All right. Well, let me ask you this. Okay, so I'm happy to. I mean, I'm only getting 3% on your house. What did you want to pay the buyer's agent on your house in Alaska?
Probably whatever's typical, like 2.5%, 2%.
Okay, so basically, then we could do 5% here in Alaska. Then that would work for you.
Well, we were really hoping that we've looked at some companies that do like a 1% fee and then they co-op 2.5 or 3%. So we're getting a reduced commission on our side.
Well, that equals 4, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're offering me 3?
Well, no, we want 3 for the whole thing.
So you want basically, I mean, your expectation is somebody to sell your house and list it and sell it for 3%?
Yes.
All right, now it becomes.
Yeah, we've been doing some research and we understand there's a company here that's like they basically you pay 2.5% to the other agent, but you only pay them like a 1% fee. They have different types of fees that you can pay, and it's basically a reduced fee to put it in the MLS and advertise it for you.
So you guys, all right, so this, regardless of how it starts, all the roads lead to the interstate. In a commission objection, the interstate is going to go one of two ways. It's going to go into number one, did they discount the commission, meaning they started here and now it's here, or they're going to deal with a discount broker. And there may be a third one there, I just can't think of it. And so then there's the conversation's just going down there. So you're looking at maybe one of those what we call a discount broker, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just kind of curious. I mean, you could do that. However, what's your main focus? Is it going to be what you save on commission or what you make selling your house? What's more important? Making money?
Getting the most value.
What? All right. So you're talking about the value. You're talking about selling your house for the most money?
Yep.
So if one company could sell your house for more money than another company, then the fees become irrelevant. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. Well, so all right now.
So can I sidebar you real quick?
Yeah, that's your role play.
So I'm making an assumption because they have not said, I'm making an assumption by the fact that they said 3% in their email, that the only rational person in this state that would do something like that or offer something like that is a SBO company. So they didn't say that for sure, but that's my assumption. And again, that's why I hate having any kind of conversation via email, because I have lots of questions for them. So let's just say she says no to Zoom. Then what?
Well, then look, can we have a conversation? Listen, we have a great relationship and I can give you an answer. I can say no. However, that doesn't explain everything. I would rather have a conversation with you. Now, if this could be a $20,000 conversation, would that be worth 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And then you'll have to find out, see, you don't know enough. You don't know what cards they're holding. So you need to get some clarity and then be prepared to go down. I'm sure you probably have those scripts to go down those roads. So let's just finish it for the benefit of anybody else here that has a commission objection. We all seem to get them all the time. So you're going to go, so you've got the what we call the discount brokers, correct? No, what reward? Do you want to make money on this or save money?
Make money.
So if you made more money going with us, let's say, than the discount broker, then the fee becomes irrelevant, doesn't it?
Yeah, I guess. It seems like you guys are making money on my other property that I buy in Arizona too. So it just seems like we're really giving you a lot of money.
Well, if we're putting more money in your pocket, then basically you're making money with us, aren't you?
Yeah, but how can you guarantee me I'm going to make more money?
Well, there's no guarantees out there. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen. However, we could give you a pretty good idea. Why don't we examine our track record? Why don't we examine these other? How about this story? Have your stories ready. The seller, the one I just went through, if you were on the call, the $30,000 extra they made. What about your team? What about your back office? What about the fact that you are helping them with, the #1 team in Prescott? Do you think because you're working with a great agent in Prescott and somebody's the #1 team there that they may know of a listing that nobody else knows about, and you might get first crack at it? Do you think you might save some money on that end?
Possibly.
Well, if you work with the best and you work with the best, how could you better that? I don't know. Anybody else want to take a crack? Come on, be brave. We got a few minutes. We got 10 minutes left. Who wants to take a crack at that or go on another? Does that help you, Christy?
Yeah, no, the Zoom thing, because we've kind of, that's kind of gone by the wayside for the most part as far as appointments for us, because I only did that like 2 times last year. So the thought didn't even occur to me, but I'm going to throw that out, see if I can get them to respond.
Well, the other thing being, and you guys can speak up here, why, when clients start ghosting you, start asking yourself why. What do you think?
Because I didn't give them the answer they wanted in an email, I'm sure.
Well, then maybe they need a brick upside the head. Well, no, I'm not going to do it for 3%. I'm going to do it for free. How do you like that?
That's good. Yes.
What? You like that? I don't mean a literal brick. I've done that before. No. What if you said, well, how about if we do it for free? Would that make you feel better? No. They're going to say, well, what do you mean? Well, can we have a conversation about it? I'll show you. Plus, you have a flexible thing, or you have a commission or whatever. I mean,
right. And I said that. I said, we have a flexible rate commission program. I'd love to talk to you about it.
Well, yeah, there's a fly in an ointment somewhere.
Yeah. Yep. I know. Nothing. It drives me crazy when people ignore me and I'm like blowing their phone up too. So it's like, I just want to get them on the phone or get in front of them. I might just show up to their house. I don't know.
There you go.
But that stuff just drives me nuts.
Drive David's big truck. That'll scare him. All right. We've got 9 minutes here. What's next, Sonny?
Thanks, Denny.
Hey,
Okay.
Denny, can I add something to this, please?
You may.
When I get the sellers giving me a hard time about my commission, I had to work at this, but I also bring to the table the value that we bring as Keller agents. And one of the biggest pluses that I've used is in command in designs, and it's the listing presentation. And you can modify that. You can add your current market stats. You can add how much of the market in your area that Keller is controlling or is a part of. So there's a lot of things that you can do, and just mail it to them. That's going to grab their attention, I think.
Well,
Thank you for that.
yeah.
Well, I was just gonna, for perspective, I usually take listings at 7%. So 6% is the discount. I never take anything under 6%. I just need to be able to get in front of them. Like, I usually don't have any issue with commission objections. I just feel like if I got in front of them, or if I can just get them live, then I can get it. It's just a matter of the whole passive aggressive emails and not answering my calls that I need to get past. But I think I can handle the commission piece of it.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Hot luck, 5 minutes. What we got? Sunny.
Okay, so let's go toward a luxury listing. So I'm a luxury seller. My house is worth $2 million. So we're sitting down and I say, thanks so much, Denny, for coming out. But I want to know where you're going to get the buyers from to buy my house.
Oh, I got that. Well, that's an awesome question, Sunny. Thanks so much for that. Let me ask you, is that if we have a conversation about that, and you can see how I get the buyers for your home, would you be prepared to put your home on the market with me today?
Yeah, if you can show me that you have access to $2 million plus buyers, then I would be ready to put my house on the market.
Okay, and so I'm curious, have you interviewed other agents and asked that same question?
I have. I've interviewed 2 luxury teams. They've sold a couple homes in the 2 to 5 million range.
And when you ask that question, how do they demonstrate to you that they had the buyers for those homes?
Well, they didn't, which is why I had you come out.
So let me ask you, I understand from a seller, you want to get your home sold, and are you attempting to hire an agent that has the buyer, or do you want to hire an agent that specializes in representing the seller's needs?
Well, I didn't think about that. I just figured that I needed an agent that had the clientele that should be in my house and that can afford to be here.
Okay. All right. So, I'm trying to figure out which way I want to go. I want to step out of role just for a second. I don't know about your market. I can tell you from my experience, this is generally true. It's not unusual that someone in a geographic area will be the specialist in that geographic area, that price range. So they might have multiple listings in that neighborhood. All right. Sometimes we refer to those as the gorilla or the top agent or whatever in that area. Here's the interesting thing that I want you to be aware of. If you were to do an MLS printout of the 15 properties and sold in that area in that price range, there may be one agent had 3 or 4 listings and a couple others 1 or 2, etc. What's generally true is there's not a centralized buyer's agent representative, meaning the listing agent that would be the gorilla in that area generally isn't the one bringing the buyers. Where are the buyers coming from? They're all over the place. So the task right now is to change the base, change the focus from Sunny's thinking, I want to hire someone that has the buyers. Well, in reality, you guys, listen up. There is no agent out there that has a corner on the buyers. How many buyers in any particular price range do you have right now? So that's where I'm going to go with this. So Sunny, let me ask you this. Maybe you have your computer there, or you can have a printout. Look at this list. Here's the homes that basically sold in the last 12 months in the price range in your neighborhood. You see there was 12 of them. I've got it sorted by buyer's agent name. Do you see anybody that stands out as being the agent that has the buyers?
No, they all look pretty equal to me.
They all have one. So how would you determine If, for example, if I said, yeah, I have 2 buyers in a $2 million price range, would you hire me?
Do you?
Well, let's assume I did.
I don't know. I didn't even think of it like that. I just thought that that's the route that I should take, is that I should hire somebody that has the clientele for my house.
I totally get that. However, would you be open to a suggestion?
Yeah.
The sellers that we've worked with that have been successful, what their approach has been this: they hired us because we have the relationship with the people that have the relationship. Meaning, all right, so we sell 300, 400 homes a year. And so that would be X number of people. And we have 6,000, 8,000 people in our database. So if we sift through there, we may have 1 or 2 buyers in that price range. However, is it possible they don't want your home?
Yes.
Well, if you hire an agent because of the buyers they have, once those buyers say no to your home, you've got a gun with no bullets. You've got a fishing rod with no hook. Rather, how about this strategy? What we do is we specialize in not only letting our buyers know, we specialize in letting the 3,000 or the 4,000 other agents out there, or the 400 luxury agents out there that have buyers, and we want to make sure that your home comes up on top of their search. We have access to worldwide publications or worldwide reach, blah, blah, blah. Our job is to be able to lasso all the buyers from all the agents out there to give your home maximum exposure. Now, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
You see, some agents don't want to tell anyone about their listing because they want to be the ones to sell it. We're opposite. We want the world to know about your home. We want everybody to know about it, and that's what we're going to go about doing. And so that's our value proposition: is if there's a buyer for your home somewhere in the world and we don't know them, we know who does know them. That's who we're going to tell. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Whew. Anyway. So you guys been quiet today. I know it's Thanksgiving. So why don't we share some ahas? Give us some ahas. Come off speaker. You guys been quiet. I'm going to go gargle with Listerine or something. Salt water. That's what my grandmother used to have, salt water. Anyway, anybody learn something? Let's share it with us right now. Don't hang up. Share it. Give me three awesome ahas.
I'll share mine, as I
Okay.
shared earlier.
Okay.
If they're concerned about the commission and want to pay X less, convert that to dollars and ask if they were able to net X dollars more, if they'll be ready to move forward.
Awesome. Thanks, Raquel. What else?
I have one. Ambiguity is a killer. I like how you clarify and you get down to what really are the objections, and not leave it up to being ambiguous about it.
Awesome. That's the first time I said that too. You know, I like it too. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, it works. Yeah.
One more, and Sonny, don't sign off. Okay. Or one more.
From the role play, I learned that sometimes the sellers might have personal reasons not to sell the house. It could be just there, that doesn't have to do with the agent, but they're reviewing their own options.
Thank you very much. Well, thank you guys for being on. No class, no mastery next week for Thanksgiving. Have an awesome week off with Thanksgiving week. Best for you. And in the words of Hill Street Blues, be careful out there. Yeah, Sonny, just hang on 1 second, okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Denny.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Denny.
Thank you,
Happy
Denny.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Turkey Day.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thanks, Denny.
Kevin, you're all dressed up today.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm awesome. Thanks for being on camera.
I missed
Hey,
you.
Sonny, that's 1 second, Kevin. Do you know how to print chat? Don't hang up until you print chat.
I know how.
Or save chat. You'll be able to save it and email it to me.
Let me see.
Kevin, did you have a question?
I just wanted to ask you how do you make it provable, the extra sales price?
Did I do what?
How do you make the extra sales price provable?
Well, it's not provable. It's just the method. And that's
Yeah.
my graph of point A, point B, top market value.
Yeah,
And you take a number that might be a little bit outside the range, and we're looking for a buyer that's doesn't want to, that's tired of looking. So we go with methodology.
got it. Yes, I thought, I like the way you did that.
Yeah. Appreciate you, Kevin. Thanks.
Hey, I think you're great. I haven't been here for a while and I have never been visible. So I just want to say hello to you guys. And John is a great guy. You guys are great. And I watch you guys multiple hours every week. So on YouTube.
Reach out anytime, Kevin.
Thank you, brother. Thank
All
you.
right.
Bye, Sonny.
I don't hang up, Denny, because it's not letting me do it. So hang on, I'm seeing if I can copy and paste it in an email. No. I'm supposed to be able to go right on these little dots, and it's supposed to. Right, let me see. Is there something in particular you want?
Well, there's comments that come out, there's questions, etc., that I want to stay in the habit of we grab that. Let me just make a quick call, and while you're on the call.
I should be able to literally just save it to my desktop. Select all.
Your call has been forwarded to it.
Save chat, message history, Zoom, cloud storage. Okay, how to save.
Maybe I don't know.
During the meeting, click chat. At the bottom of the chat window, click the ellipses, the three dots, then click save chat. Have you done that?
Yeah, it's not letting me.
This will save, it won't? Well, maybe, are you host?
I don't know. See if you can do it. I think, or maybe it says I'm host. I'm at the bottom of the chat. Oh, maybe I need to go up here to this one. Nope.
No.
You can't do it either. I do it. I've done it on every meeting that I've ever had to do that for. I don't know if it's because this isn't a webinar. I don't know.
At the bottom of the chat window.
So if I click on the paper.
Do you even see save chat?
No, it's not coming up. I see the three little dots. That's normally where it is. And then there's actually like a little piece of paper that I'm trying to save to my desktop and it won't let me. It says it's blocked for security reasons, what I'm trying to do. Maybe they have it off. I'm gonna take pictures of it.
Does it say, do you see where it says save chat?
It's not on here. It's normally on the three little dots. On the three little dots, all it says is host, co-host, everyone, and everyone directly who I can chat with. Then next to it, there's a smiley face that's like for emojis. And then next to that, I don't know what that is.
Then just take a second and flip through there. If there's any questions about situations or role plays, that just take a picture of it.
Okay.
And so we can have it and use it maybe for later stuff in case we miss something.
Okay. Don't hang up. Or you, okay, you can hang up, I think, but I can't. So hang up.
All right. See you.